Hi everyone, welcome to the More Sibyl podcast. This is a podcast about culture and cultural nomads designed for Blacks and Asians and those who love them. And I'm about to go live soon with Alex Bells, aka Tolu Oyekan, and we're going to be exploring a story. Just waiting for those to join us, for some of you to join us rather. Just tell my color. Hi, Success Asha.b. Thank you. Hey, Damilola, how you doing? Nice to see you here. So today we're going to be talking about Tolu's story. For those that are just joining us, I'm waiting for her to join me, shortly. And we will be talking about, losing her parents and then losing her sister recently. And she dropped out of medical school because, stuff happened. Oh, she's right here. Yes. Here. Just waiting for her to connect and then we can get started. Hey,
Oh,
can you hear me?
hello, I can hear you.
Oh, the volume is quite low on your end.
Okay, let me try something.
Thank you. And could you turn on the lights?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Let me try. Thank
Nice to
you.
see you, by the way. All right, for those that are joining us, thank you so much for being a part of us today. And
You
I really
better.
can't wait to, chat with Tolu. And also, the hope is just to encourage somebody out there, or maybe one or two people out there, in whatever phase in life you might be in. Because I believe that the more we share our stories, the more we can
Yeah,
be enlightened and even strengthened, in our journeys. So,
true.
anyways, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you, how you doing?
The volume is too low. Is it just me?
Can
Yep.
you hear me now?
A lot better. A lot better. Yeah. Are you
Okay,
using any
okay.
headphones? No, you're not using any earpiece, are you?
No, I'm not using the earpiece. Maybe I'll try to use the earpiece
Yeah.
because let me try
Well,
that.
let me even ask them. Guys, are you guys able to hear Tolu very well? Please let us know in the comment section. You guys that are online with us right now, are you able to hear Tolu very well? Tolu, can you say something?
Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
I mean, I can hear you. It's just not quite loud. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Hey, hello. This is
Hi,
the
guys. Can you hear
loudest
Tolu
my
very
voice
well?
is.
Okay, they can hear you.
Hello.
Okay. Somebody said they can hear you. I
Okay.
think that's just
But can you hear me?
I can, I
Is
can,
it
I can. I
clear?
just wanted to be sure that the volume was loud enough. I can hear you. I could hear you.
Okay.
It was just in
Okay.
the
Okay.
beginning it was a little bit, Okay, you can hear it clearly. Maybe
Oh,
somebody.
okay.
Let me drink some coffee.
Ah.
All right, let's go right into it. So, welcome to the
Yes.
show. This is a Merciful podcast. It's a podcast about culture and cultural nomads designed for Blacks and Asians and those who love them. My name is Motalani, or I go by Mosilo, and I'm from Nigeria. I schooled in the US for my graduate degree, and I speak Korean, and I love Jesus. And what I
Wow.
do on the show, which I launched 2 years ago, is to help people set their stories free, especially the ones that has really affected us in so many ways. Because one of the things we like, what happens to us can be quite sad, but the shame and the guilt and just the overwhelming negative feelings that come with that. Sometimes I feel like it prevents us from living our authentic life. So I bring people on the show who just they've gotten to that point of determination, self-determination that I'm ready to share my story. How can I use it to help somebody, or how can I even use it to help myself in a way? So that's what I do on the show. You can check my podcast out anywhere you listen to podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on Anchor. I'm also on Instagram, so make sure you follow me because we do different kind of shows and different kind of free workshops to just help people. And Tolu is we went to high school together actually, Federal Government Girls College, And the last time I saw Tolu, like I said in my post, was she was just wearing her which is the pink checkwear, and she tied her hair. And I actually had a dream about that. Like I saw somebody that looked like you, and I thought, I was like, oh, that's not Tolu. Like the same description. And then she
Wow.
did what? And Tolu was, I don't think I ever remember you speaking a lot in school, but your sister, which we're going to talk about, like your sister Damilola, she was a voice to be reckoned with. Like Damilola would be in a space, like you just had to acknowledge her because she was, that feisty about it. But Tolu is a graduate of University of Cape Coast, Ghana. She earned a first class in medical laboratory technology. She's also a certified health safety and environmental specialist, and she works as a client success and retention manager at Olumi Brig Consulting, and she's also the lead virtual assistant at AP Consulting. She's an author. She wrote a book last year. Congratulations, by the way, called I Speak Life.
Thank you.
She also believes that by seeing the God in others, you can see the good in them, and thus she tries to engender positive outlook in other people's lives. She's volunteers and she continue to volunteer for different causes like feeding the poor, sexual abuse survivors, and so much more. Above all, she loves Jesus. She's humorous, she's fun-loving, and she's a high-spirited woman. All right, Tolu,
Hey.
welcome to the show.
Wow, that was some introduction. Oh my God.
Oh, of course.
What a profile.
You deserve the accolades. Anyways.
Interesting.
So
Thank
tell
you
us
so
a little
much.
bit
Thank
about
you,
yourself,
Tony.
your family. In a few words, how you grew up, how many siblings you have. You had.
Okay, so the intro said a little bit about me, but my family. So I'm the third of okay, I grew up in a family of six, my parents, and then four siblings, two boys, two girls. So I was the third of four children, and I had my elder sister, my elder brother, my elder sister, and then I have a younger brother. We grew up in Ibadan, and yeah, because my dad used to work as civil servant in your state, and my mom used to be a nurse before she transitioned into business and all of that. And I schooled in Oyo, FGGC Oyo. That's where I met Tolani. And she was my senior. Senior Tolani, that's what we call them. Yeah.
That's good with
Yeah,
flashbacks.
so, yes, so Fego. And from there, I went to Lautech. And a few things happened in Lautech, and then I went to UCSD. And yeah, yes.
You're looking cute, by the way. I love your glasses. Let me just say that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
So,
you so much.
like I said, your sister Damilola, she was my roommate in Oyo. Like I think I don't remember, maybe junior class, but she had a room. Hi, Ojolape. Good evening, Senior Tolani. Oh my goodness. She had a room by the door. Like the moment she opened the door, her room was literally behind the door, and she stayed on the lower bunk. Now, your sister, one of the stacking memories I have of her is she had a pink bra, a pink lacy bra that she would wear on her under her white t-shirt. Because so for those that didn't know, we went to boarding house, and our uniforms were white tops and then green skirts for the
Green
seniors or
skirt or
pinafore for
pinafore.
the junior. Now, if you wear a colored bra over anything, it's gonna over anything white, it's gonna show. So I knew that
Yeah.
Damilola had, she was like, I'm gonna be at this decent, but then you gotta see the colorful person that I am. And I would say this as a senior, that was the first time I was ever seeing a colored bra because I thought that bras only came in white, black, and brown. And there was this junior that was just, and it was pink, it was lace. I could never forget that sight. And I remember, what such boldness from a junior girl. And then when I was somebody that, you you can't, I mean, she could tell that she had this sense of justice to always right the wrong. She would speak out for people. Sometimes she got into trouble. And, as a senior, I was sometimes conflicted. Like, this girl just rude or she's just, very opinionated. I think it was just a little bit of both because she didn't care. And you could tell that her
Yeah.
boldness was just way beyond just anybody. It was maybe the way you guys grew up and, your father or your mom instilling that confidence in her. Because, girls can have daddy issues and whatnot. But anyways, your sister was
Yeah.
just, that force to be reckoned with. And and I followed her through her life and all the things she's ventured into, like her foundation and even people that talked about her after she passed on. You can tell that looking back at Oyo, those were the traits that actually helped her to succeed. So for those that,
Yeah.
those that don't remember, don't know, she lost her sister, I think last year or 2 years ago.
Last
Was it
year. Last
last year?
year, May 27th.
Wow. Well, condolences, deep condolences on that right away again. But
Thank
just let us
you.
know, for those that know Damilola, how would you describe her as a sister and a friend and, and a mother
Yeah.
figure?
Okay. It's like there's really no way I can describe her without smiling, and I'm really, really grateful for that. In the short time that we are together, it's funny you mentioned the fact that she was really bold and she tried to,
I'm
right
losing
wrongs and
you. The
everything.
network is a little bit bad.
Can you hear me?
Oh, she said. You kind of
I'm still
froze a
here.
little bit.
Okay. Is it fine
Okay, can
now?
you say that
Sorry
again?
about
The
that.
only thing I heard last was the short time you had together.
Okay, so I'm saying that the short time we had together, it makes me smile even when I think back on those things. It's funny you mentioned the fact that my she was really bold and she always loved to right wrongs. And I think she took that from my mom. My mom was nicknamed Margaret Thatcher. She would not, I'm telling you, my mom was the hard woman. Like, you cannot cheat someone and she would look away. My mom is the kind of person that would probably see something that is not her business, and she just goes there and she just interferes in the
That
matter.
was
And you're like,
Damilola.
do you have to do that? You understand? And that actually that transition, I was a gentle person. Yeah, I still have my own stuff, but my sister
Oh my
took
gosh, the
like,
network is so
but
bad. Lost connectivity. All
can you
right.
hear me now?
Yes, you're back. Yeah, yeah. So you're talking about your mom.
Hey, this internet, Holy Spirit, have your way.
Amen.
Yes. So yeah, and she took that from my mom. My mom would not, she wouldn't just look and see. And when I think about my sister, there's something I can't stop thinking about. The fact that she had the art for people.
Yeah, she
She
did.
had a art. She was bold in a way that she was ready to defend others. She had the art for people in the sense that she was compassionate. So it wasn't just that she wanted to defend people, she was ready to help them, provide for them. I remember sharing with you the fact that, I was looking through her phone after she passed, and I saw so many things, and I'm like, this woman just does things in secret that you don't know. She's touched so many lives. like
Yeah,
like it was part of the reasons that I said it's not like, I think I need to really do this foundation thing. I know we're still going to come back to that, but
yeah.
people were calling me. People called me up and then told me, Dami, there was actually one woman. She called me. I wasn't picking because I wasn't really in a good place. But then she kept calling, and I knew that is it that she wanted to give me
That's
something else.
important.
But then
Yeah.
when I picked the call, she just kept wailing and said, I don't know if you're Yoruba. There's this thing they call Allah Numi, like
Yeah, my
my
helper, my
my
benefactor,
helper.
my daddy long leg.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what she was just saying. That Allah Numi is something. I said, Madam,
Yeah.
don't worry. We will be fine eventually. I don't know, but that was one thing that through the years, from the time that we grew up together until our death, there was a constant with who she was. She was bold, she was compassionate, she had a big heart for people. She was someone that would go out. So if you tell her we want to buy a car, we will buy the best. If you tell her we want to cook, we have to cook food. If you want to do anything, she would not even think of the fact that, wait, where is this money going to come from though? She would just always say, okay, you know what, we'll be fine
Yeah.
eventually. And I'm
Yeah.
like, do you even have savings or anything? Or she just said, well, we will be fine. We'll be fine. We need to help these people and all of that. So losing her for me was because she also replaced, she became a mother to me in after I lost my parents, and she took the role like you expected her to do it. Like,
Mm.
let me just make myself, let me just how do I call it now?
Yeah.
I don't like shopping. I don't like going to the market, and I don't like shopping, but I like looking good. And I had a sister that had an eye for good things. So until her death, my sister was the one that shopped for me.
Wow.
Until to my underwears, she did the shopping.
She gets you a
When
pink
she
little
drives,
bra as well.
she
You don't
loves
have to answer
lacy
that.
things. You just you understand, and
Uh,
those were the things that I can forget easily, and they I will say they are the things that propel me forward to say, if our life was this beautiful, as short as it is, I want mine to also make sense. You understand
mm,
what I mean?
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Oh wow. I mean, thank you for sharing that because there's so many aspects of
Thank
that that I
you.
didn't see. And I deeply, deeply I mean, we don't know why people die. That's of course brokenness in the system and whatnot. But as a beautiful soul as the sister was, I'm sure when we get to heaven, we'll probably have the answer. But I know that no
Yes.
tears are wasted, no hurts are wasted when it comes to like our
True.
faith in Jesus. And even though you
Yes.
miss her so much, I'm sure that you know that she's in a happy place, in a better place. And but of course, you still miss her because she's your sister. You want her, to be here with you to go through all the milestones and sisterhood and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I know one of the things you said was when you lost her, and I wanted to talk more about the system a little bit, was, nobody, as the next of kin, nobody even contacted you, nobody, said anything. Especially for those that, because I have a sister who lost a child, stillbirth, and they mismanaged the case so grossly. Like everyone you talk to about it, they could always identify that at this particular moment, the hospital messed up. But of course, for most parts in Nigeria, it's very hard for you to go on that. I mean, you can want to get, what's the word, like some form of justice, but then that doesn't come easily. And with that quest of justice, you're kind of putting your life on the line, your emotions on the line. At what point, like, how was that like for you, knowing that, there was some form of medical negligence and even how they even handled the whole thing after the fact? How was that for you? And are you still pursuing like a form of, you guys need to right the wrong that was done?
Okay, so I think I had come to the decision that it was better to let God than pursue the system, because if I wanted to blame, I could pinpoint. I mentioned something. I was a next of kin, and things happened, and the hospital didn't contact me. So that was wrong, and I had the right to whatever I wanted to do. But I asked myself a question: will this bring her back? No. Will it hurt me more? Because I started to, picture how it happened. And the truth is, if I had wanted to go to the root of the matter, maybe I'll probably get a little bit of justice or whatnot. But that would probably have done more damage than good. And I saw beyond what was happening. And that's one thing I would say about grief. In that moment, there are decisions you cannot afford to make. Because if it was the way I felt that I wanted to react, things will happen. Like, people would see a different kind, a side of me that they didn't know existed. People would, I won't be able to, I will probably not be able to be here today, because I will still be in that place of knowing that someone could have done something better and they didn't. Someone could have picked up the wrong and, right it, and they didn't. They didn't. So I say, God, if you allow this to happen, I leave it to you. As much as I want a lot of things to happen, I leave it to you. I believe that you are the God of justice. Justice, ultimately. And if this is not going to heal me, don't give me the desire to pursue it. And I didn't have the desire. As much as I could have, I didn't. I just said, you know what, God, I give it to you. And that is what, and it meant that I allowed myself into the embrace of the Father. Because if I had pursued it, I would have left God out of it. I would have just, done what I wanted to do, this and that and that. And I would not have been able to see all the things that will probably happen after. So sometimes it's better to not make a decision in that moment, let go and let God. Yeah, there's some that you probably would not be able to overlook. The system is broken. The system is really, the system in Nigeria is really broken when it comes to healthcare. Because I've had the things in this COVID era, and I'm disappointed. Things happen and it looks like doctors have forgotten their, what's this, the name of their hospitals? I don't remember. Yeah, because your patients should matter to you more than whatever rule or law or whatever the case, I don't know. But I really don't want us to get into that. So
yeah. I mean, I think it takes a particular kind of strength, and I think that's drawn from your relationship with Jesus. in that you
Yeah.
know when to like abound and abase. Like the world
Yeah.
always tell you to get justice, like because there's always something about just crossing that T and dotting that I. But then is
Yeah.
that our fight sometimes? And in your case, you realize after speaking to God, like I don't want like the desire wasn't there. Now for other people,
Mm-mm.
the desire can be there. So I think
Yeah.
the key thing here is, what's your relationship with God like and how does he speak to you? So go back to him because he's the source of all things. He's gonna be the one that will comfort you, he's gonna be the one that will send
Yeah.
helpers your way, he's gonna be the ones that will, direct you. So go back to him
Yes.
because he's your
Yes.
father, he's the all seeing,
Yes.
all knowing and all, loving God. And back to the
Yes.
system,
Yes.
as someone that has worked in both the US system, Nigerian system and US system, I will say this that the system as a whole can be very overwhelming, and that can come off as a
Yeah.
poor reflection on healthcare workers. Because when they're
True.
overstaffed,
True. True.
understaffed, under-equipped, there's a burnout
True.
that just goes on continuously.
That goes
And I
on
will
there.
say
Yeah.
this, like for most healthcare workers, there's still the passion. But when the system is so flawed, as far as infrastructure is being poor, and there's so many patients to take care of, there's a way it kind of changes you as a healthcare professional. So
Yeah.
I mean, while I know some doctors can be culpable or nurses or whatever, healthcare worker, they can be quite, unprofessional and grossly incompetent. But I always think we go
Yes.
to the system first, and then we can see. But then, like you said, like imagine if you had just dwelt in that right sense of justice, which that wasn't the right path for you. All of things you'll be able
Yeah.
to do with all of this, you'll have been missing like the bigger picture for your case. This is not
For my
applicable to
case.
everybody, but for your case.
Okay.
And so thank you for sharing.
Yeah, but that's
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. I would like something there.
Sure.
When so people think there's a way that everybody has to grieve. I would say that grief for people is not one size fits all. So for some people, their grief is actually pursuing what happened and getting to the root of the matter. And then when they get that, some people would not be able to do what will come after. So you decide by your relationship with God, oh my God, to handle this. I want to handle this. Because when you lose a loved one, I would always, there will be a void. That feeling, that overwhelming feeling, sadness because of their absence.
Yes.
But what do you do with that? What do you hold on to in it? You shared
Mm.
so many beautiful memories. Don't forget that because of what you're going through. To fill up the void, up those moments and smile. Some
Yeah.
people will tell you things like the day when you told me about the brat thing, it made me really happy because it
Yeah.
just took me all the way back to when we were in secondary school. And people always thought that my sister I was in a junior, but people always thought she was like in SS3 and I was in GS2. Because when I say I would tell my sister, hey, people would just free me. But my sister was in GS3 and
That's
I was in
Damilola for you.
GS2. But they know that if I should just say hi with my sister like this, the moment she steps in, everybody will just
The
scatter.
shoulder,
It made me
Jalaja.
really happy because you get, and that
Yeah,
really made
yeah.
me happy. That moment was something I didn't have before, but I had it because it just brought it back, and I was able to cherish that. So remember that there will be moments, memories that you shared. Those are the things you need to hold on to. Passionately, like let it be like, oh, this is what this person is to me now.
Yeah.
And enjoy it. There are days you will remember and you cry. There are days you remember you would smile. But I want to say that create memories with people that love so that things happen. Let's not lie, these things happen. When things happen, you will
Mm.
not went do this to my. I she was my really close friend, and she was the caterer because she used G before she passed. She was a caterer.
Hello? Can you hear
And
me?
she was catering for that event.
I can't like I don't know. There's a little bit of a delay in my like I can hear you. Can you hear me?
And the passion with
Okay.
which she was
All
doing this
right.
thing,
Because
because
I can hear your voice, but I know it's probably like something that you
it
said
was my
a while
friend.
ago. Thank you for sharing all that. I think I missed a chunk of it, but let's still go ahead. There was something you said about grief. You said when you lose a loved one, there will always be an emptiness or void inside of you. And what you can hold on to is the life they lived and the people they impacted. And I think that's just what you explained
I
in
said,
talking about your sister
wait, how much
and all of
did they
that.
pay you?
Are you still able to hear me?
She said,
Okay.
please mind your
Now,
business. Like,
I know you lost your parents as well.
and that
In
actually really,
your mom died in 2009, and your dad died in 2010, and
I can't do less. I
that's a
didn't even know
huge, that's monumental right there. You
that was
know,
going to happen.
as far as
But
your
she
just what you've gone through in your life,
influenced
and then last year your sister died. Like how I can't even imagine that you when you
can you still
completely
hear
grief
me?
because grief is never complete. It's always cyclical, right? Like, what keeps you
She,
going on?
my
Given
work
this,
ethic.
like, most people in their lifetime would never have that kind of thing happen to them.
Can you hear me? Can you still hear me? Yeah, it was really nice. I wanted to.
I can't hear you though.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Hello?
Are you guys able to hear her and hear me at the same time? I don't know. There's something off. Like the hear me? This is horrible. This is like really horrible. I can't hear you anymore. Maybe you can keep talking. Please, they can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to be too spiritual. The truth is the truth. God keeps me. That's the truth. Okay. Going on. Like God going on. I can you're not hearing me.
You can hear me or you cannot hear me.
Please hold on.
You
Hear
can hear
me?
me. Okay.
Hello?
I can see your mouth move, and I know you said
Am
you
I
can
still
hear
visible?
me, but your voice, the voices I'm hearing right now was the voice you said
I
like
think
some
your
seconds
network
ago.
is fighting on
I
you.
you said I'm
Hello?
like,
I can hear you. Sorry.
okay, let's try this again.
Hi.
Let's try
Hello.
this again.
Hello.
Let me restart this. Let's try this
So
again.
okay, if you guys can hear
Hi. Let's try this again. So the last room with Tolu was just really wonky. And here's my attempt to try this again. And hopefully we can just get into the heart of the matter. I don't know what's up with my internet connection today, or maybe it's from Tolu's end. I don't know, but we're still here and just trying to give this another try. Okay. No, Tahila. Thank you both for joining us again. And oh, thank you guys. We're gonna resume shortly. I don't know what happened with the last stream. It was just really wonky. I couldn't hear her, and then when I would hear her, it would be things she said beforehand. Let's take her. She's here, but I'm trying to bring her to join the screen. You wanna join the stream? Mm. Hi. I sent you a request, Tolu. Thanks for joining back, guys.
I
Okay, much better. Oh,
oh okay.
yes. Yeah, and I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Okay,
Oh, it's fine. It's
okay.
fine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think the last question I asked you, which I think you've
Okay.
already answered, but I want to hear it back, is what keeps you going? And I heard a little bit of it, but I want to hear more.
Okay. So what keeps me going is God. That's the truth. God. Because I remember losing my mom, and the only thing I could depend on was the fact that I knew God. That
Mm.
was a constant in my life. So I had to ask him, if you took my mom or you allowed her to go, you have to be ready to be my father. And we had those weird conversations where I asked a lot of questions, but it was something that I just moved. I just took off from. And of course, I still had my dad, and so there was the love and all of that. And then I lost my dad, and I was numb. That's the truth. I was numb because I didn't know which of the emotions to feel. And I knew I had a lot of other things. I was preparing for exams, MBBS exam. I was in medical school. So I was just numb. And that was the only thing. I just said, you know what? I don't know what to do, but God, you need to come through. And I just let him be. Like I just let myself be in his presence. Just, in fact, the funny thing was I wasn't aware of, I feel like I didn't want to deal with the reality of losing my parents. So I just numbed that pain and hid them somewhere. And then school issue happened and I failed, and you know, and I just felt like, why are all of these things happening now? Why is this happening to me? I know I couldn't afford to hold on to that. I need to find a way around this. And I prayed, God, paved the way. I went to Ghana. I left. I took off and then I left. And then I went to Ghana. And because I left, it was easier not to deal. So I didn't heal from losing my parents. I just let God direct me in ways, but I didn't acknowledge that they were really gone. I didn't want to, I couldn't. But I had a backing, which was God. I was consistent with him. He was consistent with me. Things happened and I just moved like that with that reality. But when I lost my sister,
Mm.
it felt like, you know, there's this thing in Yoruba, they say akondun. It's like a wound that is not healed.
Yeah, yeah.
Then someone now eats the place of that wound. And there's this thing about pain. If you've felt it before, you will recognize it. And when that came, it came in multiple. So it was times 3 of what I had known before. So one happened with my mom, and then my dad, and then my sister.
You had to
And then
confront
it
it.
was, and I had to, because I knew that, okay, the only way I knew I needed to confront it was because I would cry on ending. Like I would cry and I would lose my breath. I would cry and I would have panic attacks. And I knew that this cannot just be this. It's something that I left behind. I need to fix this. So I had to go back into those pains and address it and say, okay, so this is true. My parents are late. My mom is gone. Because I used to paint a picture like maybe they traveled somewhere. It was a coping mechanism, but it was not healthy. It wasn't healthy for me. So when my sister's loss happened, people didn't really understand me. My friend said I had this look, like I look at people like, why is this one happy? I couldn't really understand
Like you
that.
felt like the world just moved on. Like can't they just see what's happening? Like
Can't they
this
just
great person has gone. My dad and mom,
something is going on with me here? But I couldn't just afford to, stay in that. So I knew I needed help. And I said, God, you need to help me. I carry this Jesus on my head. And if this happened, you have a bigger picture. I don't know what it is, but I trust that you have a better plan in mind. So come and heal. Ha! Come and heal. And I remember something I saw recently, a quote that says, "Are you wounded? Go to the man with scars." And that was Jesus. He took all the pain, they pierced his side, they beat him, they did all of that. And then he got to a point, he said, God, why have you forsaken me? But in the midst of all of that, the reason why he went through that, we all enjoy today. So I had to touch that pain where it mattered the most. I took it to God, and as scary as it was, because, okay, so something about me, I don't really like talking about anything. I'm a very personal person. So but God said, you need to find somebody to talk to. This thing, you cannot hold it. And I knew I needed it. Yes. People should stop making it look like therapy.
Jesus and therapy, that's my saving. That holds me together.
Jesus and therapy, and God was, and this is the beautiful thing. I said that the only reason I am able to stand is God. He was so intentional about the process that he continually brought people my way. Now, this is the person I called to talk to. I just kept hearing her name. And I'm like, why do you keep telling me about this person? I don't like, why? Why? She's kind of my mentor, someone I look up to from a distance. And she had this happy thing. And I'm like,
you don't like her.
I don't know. I like her, but I
didn't happiness, like maybe like what you said about at that moment of grief is like happy people just maybe trigger you. Like, what are you happy about?
Yeah, but God just said, go and meet this person and even find out why she's happy. And then no, just go. And then I called her up. I said, I needed to see you. We fixed the date. And for the first time, in front of anybody, I wept like a baby. I cried, my eyes out. I cried and I complained and I blamed God and I accused him. Beautiful people. She did not say anything while I was doing that. She just let me. And that's one thing I want to say to people. When someone is grieving and they find the courage, because for me, I would say I found the courage to talk to you. Don't give them, you will be fine. Don't.
Platitudes. Don't worry, God will do it. What is God going to do?
Listen.
Yes, listen.
Like, listen. The funny thing is, you might not actually say anything to them, but they will feel better. And God is intentional in his ways. He can tell you what to tell them, which was in my own case. I cried. She even gave me tissue. And I was even looking at her, what kind of human being is this? So, sure, you will not say it is well because I've heard it is well so much. It became something I expected. I'm sorry. It's funny. I heard this. Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Please don't cry. Oh,
no, it's okay.
Yeah. And I wept, and that was the first time I would ever tell anybody the exact way I was feeling. Like, I didn't know how I even got or maybe I was already full with pain. So it was 3 pain I was feeling together.
Like your balloon was a balloon that was too full that you just didn't that full. No air could enter anymore. Yeah.
And God was so beautiful, so intentional about it. She didn't say anything when I was doing that. And when I was done, she looked at me and said, grief is a virus and it will run its course. But you decide how long it will run. Don't forget, you would never forget it. It's not something you can move on from. But you need to decide that you can move forward. That beyond this thing that is happening, can I see the light? And that for me was perspective. It didn't take away the pain that I was feeling, but it gave me perspective. It gave me perspective that when I went back home, I wrote something, and I would like to read that if it's okay.
Sure.
I wrote that grief is like a virus and it will run its course. It never really leaves you, but you determine how long it will run. You determine how long it will run. And if you choose to let it run your life, it gladly will. But if you decide that in spite of this, or because of this, I will live my best life. This is what you are doing. You are giving power to your spirit and opening up your soul to healing. I wrote that and I just left it in my journal. And that for me was the perspective I could see. So if I say that I want to live in my pain, I'm allowed, people would understand ultimately. But if I decide that, okay, I'm going through a lot of pain right now, but I want to do better. So how do I get out of this? I don't want to feel this sadness. It's because sadness is a feeling, if you allow it, it will overwhelm you. It will take everything away from you. There's a thin line between depression and sadness. Very thin line. When you keep allowing the sadness, you go into depression easy. In fact, you won't know you are in depression. You wouldn't like to do anything. You just be moving along with life. You know, but there was another thing she said, if you wake up 3 years after and you look back, would you be thankful for your journey, for your growth, for your process of healing? Because it's a process. You will decide when it starts. Will you be thankful or you will regret that, hey, I have wasted 3 years in pain? Will the person you're actually grieving be happy that they will probably not be able to do anything, or would they be happy that you let your life stop because they left? You know, and she asked me one question. She said, how is your sister? Describe her in one word. I said, life of the party. And she said, turn yourself into that. Find the joy. Find the happiness in the midst of everything. And that for me was the beginning of the journey of healing. Beginning for me. Being able to actually, I think the first thing was being able to actually say how I felt. I felt something lift. In fact, I can remember that day. I was coming home and I saw somebody on this call will laugh at me. I saw roasted corn. I bought because I was not feeling as sad as I was there. I bought roasted corn. And I went home and I came to eat my roasted corn. You know, but when I was going in there, I was broken. I was shattered. But when I came out of there, the fact that I didn't feel so totally left alone, and then she shared her story with me. So I think that was why God kept on telling me to go to her. She had a story that when she finished sharing, and I looked at myself that, okay, so it's still okay. Oh. Be thankful. Be thankful. I'm telling you.
You did that silver lining thing.
Yes. Yeah. And so I would always say, find someone to talk to. A therapist you might have to pay, or someone you know listens to you. Someone you know they have a listening ear. I'm a listener, so I know what it means for someone to listen. And a lot of times when people call me up and say, this is going on, I just listen and watch. And I ask the Holy Spirit, what do you want me to say? If he doesn't tell me anything, I just say, okay, so what do you want us to do? Let's decide together. I'm not going to make this decision for you. So for me, I needed someone to listen to me in that time. And God knew that I would not be able to handle it by myself. So it took me in that direction. And I would say, from that time to now, I'm not healed, but I'm better. Like I was living in pure anger. I would wake up in the morning and I would be angry. Nobody offended me. People will post things and I would just be angry as them. Like, why is this one happy? Why are you selling things? Why? I just couldn't comprehend it. But I let God. I said, God, I need you to handle this. Because they said broken crayons still colors. You need to make me up. Yeah. And God started his work with me, and he kept on sending people my way. I had a friend that he sent my way. I'm trying to run through the grief process so that we don't take so much time. I hope that's okay.
That's okay. No, it's gone.
All right. And then I had a friend that was always sending me songs that time.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at her, I said, you're sending me worship song. Okay, so I'm a worshiper. I love worship songs a lot. And she kept sending me worship song. Hey, I said, all these songs you are sending me, they are worship miracle song. I was praying for a miracle. I did not get. Don't send me any song. I was angry. I wouldn't even lie. I said, don't send me any song. But she would not listen. She would send me the song. She would send it to me. She'll call me up, I will abuse her. Why are you calling me? That day she will call me up and I'm like, why are you calling me? Say, I'm just greeting you. I say, why are you calling me? But she didn't give up on me. She didn't say, this girl, are you the only one that will believe us? Or maybe because she had never seen me like that. My sister-in-law said, you were too angry. It's true. I was angry. I was totally angry. Like
That's
she was afraid.
justifiable. It's still a part of grief. If you remember the Kubler-Ross, model,
Yeah, 5
depression,
stages.
anger, bargaining. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
it's
true. And I was really angry, but there was something I remember vividly in that time. Okay, so I had people that would send me text messages of scriptures. I had people that would send me sermons. My boss sent me one very powerful sermon. As much as I didn't want to listen, I listened, and I would just be walking some days and I would remember the words of those sermons. And that for me was healing, because it gave me courage to step out and do what I needed to do. And then people would just send me texts, people would send me quotes. God did a miracle for me. And one of my friends contacted one of her friends and told her to call me. This one she didn't know. And then she told me to contact someone. So that was the other person that I got in touch with. And then I sent her a message. Like, I wish I was on Instagram. I could have read the message I sent to her. You would think she's God. I sent her a message that this is happening to me. And someone said I should contact you. You know, that arrogance and anger and all of that. The woman called me up immediately. And she said, you will be fine. She looked at me and said, God loves you too much. And I'm like, can you say something else? She said, God, she kept saying that God loves you too much. God loves you too much. And that was something I had to keep in front of me, because why was she saying God loves me so much? Why did she care? Because the moment I sent her the message, she sent me another message, send me your number. And then I sent her my number and she called me immediately. I didn't know her from anywhere. Someone just said, send her. And she took her time with me. Like, she called, told me, she'll be fine. I have a story to tell you. Don't worry, we have gist. And I'm like, I don't know you. Why are you trying to give me gist? But that was something I was able to look forward to. And I said, okay, I want to know what this woman has to say. I want to. And that was just God opening me up to all the processes. I had a friend that would just call me up and say, what are you doing? I said, what's your own? She said, oh yeah, come. She works in church, and there's an office space I use sometimes. So I didn't go to church for a while. She just said, come to church now, let's come and play. I said, I'm not coming. She would say, I'll send Uber, I'll send taxi fare. This one, okay, I'll pay. She would negotiate until I showed up. And she just looked at me and she would just hug me. I don't like hugging. I don't, she would
she's
just
totally
hug
the opposite of your
me.
sister. We understand.
I'm not a hugging person or a hugger. What do they call them? She will hug me. And she won't say anything about what's happening. She just said, so I didn't eat it today. So what do we do? What do you want us to do? What do you want to do? So I want to say something in this point. When you have someone that is grieving, as much as they don't want you there, be present. As much as they don't want you there, be present. And this is why. There are 3 things you do for them. You give them comfort. The fact that they can see you, they're already feeling alone. They're already feeling like the world is against them. They're already feeling down. If you also exit, you're giving them a chance to really accept that truly the world is against them. So you give them comfort. You give them encouragement. They are encouraged because your presence will tell them, oh, let's do this. Or you probably don't even know what to say to them, but just stay. Just stay. Just be there. And the third thing, you give them a sense of normalcy. Like, my normal is that I have my sister and my parents, and they're not there now. Is everything else going to go that way? That's the thought in their mind. Am I going to be losing everything that way? But when you stay, you give them a sense of, you are like a constant that they can say, oh, this person is still here. This person is still here. And as much as you don't have anything to say, just be present. And I just said a few ways you can be present. Call them, send messages, send scriptures, send quotes that you think might encourage them. Go to their house if you can. If you can't, Just do your best. Pray for them. You don't have to be there to pray for them, but pray for them. Don't just say you are praying for them. We need to change this attitude of saying you are praying for me. I'm guilty. We say
People
I
in
will
my
pray
thoughts
for
and
you.
prayers. Love and life.
We are not. You are in my thoughts and prayers. It's a lie. But
Hashtag
let's
love and life.
just. But the truth is, they need it. They need it much more because they can't pray. I remember I couldn't pray at all. I couldn't. And one of my most important mentors said to me, he said, "Don't leave the atmosphere of God. I know you can't pray, but just maintain it." So when I play the song and I'm angry, I'm like, "What is this song saying?" But I'm trying to maintain something because I couldn't. I just couldn't pray. My prayers were, I questioned every prayer. So when I say you are a faithful God, and then I'm like, okay, so faithfulness means, and
You're
then I'm
auditing the
analyzing.
prayers.
Exactly. So I couldn't. But I knew that people were praying. I knew that people were praying for me because there will be days I will be on my bed and I'll say, I don't even want to do anything today. And someone will just probably send me a text message. And someone will just probably, call me up. Or I just remember something I heard. And then that will just take me out of my mood. That's why I say, whatever you do for them in that season, it's important. And I also want to tell those that are grieving, when you grieve, open yourself up to the help that God has sent your way. If someone calls you up in that moment, pick. It's not because you feel like talking. There will be times you won't be able to pick the call. Let's face it. Maybe when the whole thing is fresh, you won't be able to pick the call. So you are allowed. But when you begin to, get into your everyday life, and because the world will not stop, you probably have to go to work. I remember my elder brother had to resume work the following. So she died on the 27th, and we went to Ibadan. We had to do the burial because we didn't even know. And then we came back on Sunday, the 2nd of June. My brother had to resume on the 3rd. Life will move on. But in those moments, God will send help. Embrace it. When someone calls you, pick it. If they say something you don't like, you can cut it. Yeah, you are allowed to cut it. I would be one of the people that would say, cut it if they are saying what you don't like. But pick, because it interrupts your thought. That thought of sadness, it interrupts it. When someone sends you a message, when you see the beep, just check. It takes you out of that realm that the enemy is trying to put you. You understand what I'm saying? When someone invites you to an event, go. Not because you are up to, there are some you might not be up to, I won't lie. But if you can, just go. It takes you from that place, especially if you're alone. If you're alone, just try to maintain a community or a schedule of things you used to do. Try to embrace it. It won't come easy. You have to fight. You have to fight for your sanity. You have to fight that the devil is trying to get me. I'm not going to allow him to get me. So when the help comes, God keeps saying, someone just sends you a compliment and you're like, that's not this person. But read it in that time. It takes you out of your thought. It takes you from that place of sadness. I remember there are times that I didn't really want to talk to anybody. And when the calls come, I will not pick. But and in that moment, every sadness I probably felt will just go. And another thing I want to say quickly is, when you begin to feel good and you begin to feel better, don't deny yourself of that. When you're grieving and there's nobody you can replace. I remember when I lost my parent, I didn't want to be close with anybody. And I had friends whose parents literally tried to embrace me. I didn't want it. I didn't want it because I just felt like, no, these people will probably just also disappoint me or leave me and let me go and all of that.
Everybody's gonna leave. Like that abandonment issues that you talked about.
Exactly. You just feel like abandoned and you don't want to get close to people. You just don't want to. But you can't afford to because that would deny you of the beauty that is ahead. That would deny you of what you can achieve, the growth, the healing that you can get. That would deny you the ability to talk to someone. The funny thing is, if you are in that place, you are entitled to it. People would understand. But beyond people understanding, what will your life turn out to be? How will
Mm-hmm.
it, what will your life turn out to be? Will it be ruled by the pain and the grief? Or you allow it to actually enjoy the process of, so there were days that as much as it was still fresh, I woke up and I was happy. Oh, I smiled. I enjoyed my happiness. And the days that I was sad, so I said, God, we were happy yesterday, so what happened? So I come back to your question. God is my constant. God and music. I tried to run away from the music because it was a battle. God is my constant. And music is his way of ministering to me. And I'm so grateful that I was able to go back because I fought worship songs for a long time. I'll go to church, they'll be worshiping and I'm crying. Like, I can't understand what these people are singing. I can't. I don't get it. What are they saying? But God needed me to go through that. And he told me, you have to embrace the truth that you can see. Everything would change, but I remain the same. I have your constant. I remain the same. So just trust me. Even when your pain is much, trust me. Trust me. Believe that I am who I say that I am. And just trust me. And he gave me a word. He said, I will bring you beauty for ashes. And that was the only word I could hold on to. Because for me, if you tell me God will restore, I'm like, she cannot come back to life. We buried that, we've sealed it. And so, but that word for me was something I could hold on to. Like, okay, you said beauty for ashes. I shouldn't be feeling this terrible. And then he sent something my way, or send someone my way, or send people my way, and give me help, and answers my prayer. And things will happen, and my eyes become open. And then I saw in all of those things that the fact that I go through trouble does not change who God is. It does not. It does not change. So that's what I have to say.
Wow, Tolu, like, I hate to call you a strong woman because that to me waters it down. I can see that you are a person that has been nested in the Father's embrace, because it takes that kind of strength to be able to declare this. Now,
Yeah.
even Ecclesiastes, which is a book in the Bible, says it's time for everything. A time to be sad, a time to laugh, a time to cry, and everything under the sun has a purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, your grief, like you said, it's cyclical. Like even after talking to you now, you might just feel a little bit way after talking about your sister, but you always know that it's not gonna last permanently.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things we have to understand about grief. Like, try to find a way to be back to. Maybe you might not be back to what you used to be because you've lost something very important to you. But then,
Yeah.
what's the option B? What's your next plan? And how
What's
do
the
you want to
next
take up
plan?
that? Because pain is such a, I won't lie to you. It's such a, it can be quite selfish sometimes. And as
True.
someone that has gone through pregnancy losses, where I remember there was a whole year where I felt like a zombie. I was present at things, but I wasn't there. And
Hmm.
it took me a year at least to be able to actually finally grieve because everybody around me wanted me to move on. Like, don't worry now, God's gonna do it again. God did that, God's gonna do it again. But there was just that, like, being in that pain really helped me to be motivated in a way to just be by myself. Like, I wanted to be
Hmm.
selfish for a very long time. And
For a long
until I decided to
time.
give it to God. So for those that are going through grief, like, I understand. Maybe I don't know exactly what you've gone through, but I know
Yeah.
what pain is like. I know what it's like to be crying in your dreams, and then you wake up, you're still crying. I
Cry.
cry so
Yeah.
much that I bust my eardrums. And but then it's for how long do you want to keep being that way? And
Hmm.
like she said,
I'm so
find a way
sorry.
to yield it back to God. Oh no, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. Find a way to yield it back to God. Find a way to, I mean, even that whole thing of not questioning God. Why can't you question? And I know we talked about that KBOC stuff. Like, it's very wrong. You can actually cry to God. You can question him. You can throw your hand up and be like, God, why? Like, he wants to know. You think he doesn't know what you're going through? I mean, he lost his son. His son took on the sins of the world. Like, someone that was without blame, he took up all the sin and he was hung on the cross. Like, that's like the most embarrassing thing that can happen to anybody,
That
period.
can
He
happen to
took all of
anybody.
that for you. You think he doesn't know that you're hurting? You think he doesn't want to, be there for you? So give it back to God. And for me, I found that with that pain, when I was able to let go, I found purpose because I've been able to
Yes.
encourage those that are going through, pregnancy losses and fertility issues. Because But it took a while, though. I won't lie to you. I didn't find any
Yeah.
meaning in it. I didn't want to talk about it. Don't ask me
Yeah.
about it. Don't invite me for anything baby stuff. I don't want to hear about your pregnancy news. But I found that there's a purpose to it. And I think that when things like that happen to us, we need to
Yeah.
ask God, okay, you can ask why. It's okay to ask why.
Why?
You might not get the
Exactly.
answer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
You might
really,
not get
it's
the
okay
answer.
to.
Exactly, exactly. But keep asking and keep, okay, then what do you want me to? Then the next question was, okay, then what do you want me to do with this? And then the first thing was like, I want you to talk about it in your podcast. I'm like, 4 years later, like, I'm
Really?
not ready. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't have a kid. I don't have a baby to show for it. I don't want to talk about it. I was like, no, you have to talk about it. And then he sent somebody my way, the one I told you that had a stillbirth. And she was like,
Yeah.
I want to share with you on the podcast. And, we started talking. And that was that podcast that I did, which was 2 years ago. It was monumental in my life because I found ways to now help people set their stories free. I'm still in that journey. I
Amazing.
don't have a baby yet, but
Yeah.
the pain, I'll tell you that the pain that I felt many years ago, it's not there like there, but I never forget. I mean, some days I
Yeah.
remember and I cry a little bit, but the sadness, the heaviness is
The
not there
heaviness.
anymore. I
It's
tell
not
you that to
there.
God. It's not just therapy. God took it all away from me
Yeah.
because I had to give it to Him. I had to, because pain became like a comfort blanket to hold on to. And it was
Yeah.
justifiable because you've been through a lot. And so I held
And
on to
people would have.
until I let it go and as God exposed me, exposed everything. And then, so giving Him that blanket of pain has helped me find my purpose. And I think that's what you're trying
Yeah.
to say here. Because
Yeah.
you have gone through so much, like what you've gone through, many people will never go through in their lifetime. And I don't even know what it's like, but I really admire your courage. I admire the strength, like the strength. And I know, like I said, it's a relationship with God. And I know that that has started this good work in you, He's gonna complete
Yeah.
it. And
Amen. Amen.
along
Thank
that
you
line,
so
for
much.
those of us that really want to be there for our friends. Now, I
Yeah.
want to talk about Job's friends.
Okay.
They were his friends. Like they knew what he was going through. Be
Yeah.
like Job's friends in the sense that they were always there. Like they
Yeah.
went to where he was at the CD's place where he sat down. They were always there. Probably they even had like a roster going on, or they took a doodle pool. Who's gonna be there from 9 to 12? Be like Job's
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, be there.
Yeah.
Now, do not be like Job's friend trying to explain the suffering away. Now, I know
Yeah.
that sadness and death and grief, we're not quite used to, handling that. And sometimes we say things
We
just
don't
to
like.
avoid.
We don't. We are not comfortable with it.
We're not. So guess what you can do? Shush, silence. Oh no, like you have no idea just how silence can
You
work.
don't have
You just
to
being there
say
in front of the
anything.
person like, I have no words because
You don't
you
have
didn't
to
cause the
say
suffering, you
anything.
didn't cause the pain. What makes you think you have the words like
You can't
from your kindness of
understand
the
it.
heart? You cannot. And just holding
You
their hands
cannot.
and be like, I'm just gonna hug you and just cry with you. Is that okay? Because I don't have the words for you. And that is beautiful.
Yeah.
That is quite beautiful.
Yes.
The gift of silence, somebody that is, going through something. Now, silence not just being by you being away and then, shutting them out, but just being there, whatever way you can be there, and giving them time to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
one part. The second part is the voyeuristic way sometimes when someone dies, like, how did it happen? And then we want to go into specific details, like, why, guys? Like, why?
No.
Like,
Okay. So
unless the
I
person
wanted
is
to
ready
say
to offer
something
that
like that.
information, don't force them. Sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
Don't force. And I just wanted to say something. Empathy is not a trait that comes naturally to people, but we need to grow it. It's something we need to learn. Because when someone goes through a loss, whatever the kind of loss, the fact that you are asking the person what happened is because you want to have clarity. But will it
Yeah,
really help the person? It's like you're
exactly.
checking the person's wound. You're telling
That's
them
it.
to go all the way back to a place they're trying to run away from and tell you what happened, especially
Yeah,
when it just happened. Please, people, let us be sensitive and empathetic. Just drop yourself in their shoes. And the moment you do that, you can see clearly that you don't need to know. You know, the thing is, you won't need to tell them to tell you before they will tell you. They will
tell
just
you.
call you and tell you, this is what happened. I'm so mad at this. Because I know a few people that I called up. I called my pastor. I called my boss, my mentor. My mentor. I called a lot of people, and I was just angry. Like, this is what happened, and they just told me. They didn't have to ask me, but they had the right words to say to me in those moments. That, sorry, there was one of my pastors. The way that I shouted on her on the phone, you will think she's God. She now said, I'm sorry. She just kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And I'm like, why are you saying I'm sorry? But because she was saying that, I had to shift back, like, you don't have to do this. You can't afford to do this. Like,
Yeah.
no, this is not the right approach to it. So the most important, don't ask them what happened. Well, if they want to tell you, they will tell you. If you know what to say, I'm sorry. What can I help you with? Ask them what they want.
How you
Go to their
feeling?
house.
How you feeling? You
Them,
know,
how are
that kind of thing. Yeah.
you know, the thing is, I want to say, and this is what I wanted to say. I almost cut my hair. I love my hair. I've been growing my hair for almost 9 years. And in that
Oh,
pain, I wanted to cut my hair. Thank you. I wanted to. I wanted to look the way I felt on the inside. I wanted to look the way I felt. And God sent so many people my way. I didn't listen to them. I told my sister-in-law, she said, don't cut your hair, it's not up to that. But she didn't really know how to approach me because she said I had this outlook that she was afraid. And I told a few of my friends, some of them said, don't cut it. But God did something for me in that moment. The fact that
sorry, I need
someone
to get my
actually asked
charger.
me,
I'm here. I need to get my charger.
okay,
My phone was on that.
someone
So
actually
go
asked me,
on.
what are you planning to do? And I said, I want to cut my hair. The person said, wait, don't cut it now. Let's cut it later. And that's my brother. He asked me, as much as we were going through together, he asked me. And that was how I knew that it was important to ask them, what are you up to? He looked at me and said, what are you planning to do? Where are you going? I said, I want to go and cut my hair. In fact, I had booked the appointment. I called the person, told the person when I was coming. I had booked the appointment. He said, wait, let's do it later. And for me, that was what stopped me from doing that. That was a permanent decision. Because today I will still be remembering that, oh, it was because I lost my sister that I cut my hair.
They cut your hair.
And I
And then
love
that's longer.
And that was the person that God just said, ask her what she wants to do. So sometimes you hear the urge to ask people, what are you planning? Don't just say, oh, how are you feeling? It's a good thing, but what are you planning to do? Or where are you going? Or do you want to go somewhere? Those things, you kind of interrupt what they are trying to do. I'm grateful to God for everybody He has sent my way on this journey. And that's why I'm emphasizing, be present. Let your presence be important in the life of the people that are grieving, your friends. I know that we are not comfortable with pain and we like to, just, it is where you'll be fine. Let them decide that they want to move forward. Don't just tell them you'll be fine or it is well. No. Listen to that exhaling. That's what I call it now. My sister said you need to exhale. Listen to them in that moment. Ask them. Be there. But don't let your presence be something that will make them more angry. Like I heard a lot of things. I got to a point I switched off my phone. People, they have been calling me and saying, you called me. What people are saying, I don't like it. As much as I'm angry and I know you're trying to help me, it's not helping me. So don't call me. If you don't know what to say, don't say anything at all. So that's for people. Be with your friends, be there, but don't be like Job's friends. Don't explain the situation. Don't trigger things that they are trying to forget. But the other one is you yourself. Embrace that help that is coming your way. And don't ever make a permanent decision in that time. Because you will make the decision, you will feel like it's the right thing to do at that time. But in a few months, and I'm really, the day I realized that, wait, I wanted to cut my hair. I looked at myself and said, God, I know you love me, because this would have been it would have been another emotional journey. I'm telling you, it would have been another emotional journey. Like, why do I look so sad and terrible? And, grateful to God that in those moments, I allowed myself. And I'll keep saying, allow yourself. It is grief. Face it. It is grief. Face it, but decide. This is not going to determine who I will become. Even if it would influence. I remember one of the books that I read. Don't Waste Your Pain by my pastor, Pastor Godman Akinlabi. Don't waste your pain. And that was the title that made me buy it, because I just felt like, And that actually helped me to see people in the Bible that went through a lot of things. Joseph, Moses, you know, even ordinary people that had been through things. The reason they went through that thing would still manifest. So just give yourself the time to grieve, but don't stay in that
For a long time.
sad that for a long time. You are allowed, but don't stay. My brother said something today while we were praying. He said one thing is maintain a kind of consistent or a normalcy that you can use to get out of the pain. So you're feeling really sad and nobody's calling, nobody's texting, nobody's doing anything. What do you do in that moment? What do you do? And one thing I noticed about him is just tell you I'm going to jog, and I'm like, why are you jogging? So it was today that we were talking. I said those were the things he was doing, that he felt so overwhelmed sometimes that he just needed to walk. And the moment he walks, it feels like something in his mind just unclogs, and the pain diffuses, and God now begins to let him know, you are fine. Look at your life. It's beautiful. Look forward. Look forward. Look forward. And that was one of the things that helped. So that's what I would say.
Thank
We're
you.
not cutting our hair.
Well, I'm glad you did it. I'm glad because it's so lovely. Quickly, we're kind of we're running a little bit behind. So let's just do this quickly because this is very important. So I'm going to do a summary and then I wanted to just talk a little bit about it. So you got into Lautech, study medicine, and then, I think your second year or so, there was an exam that you did, and then you failed it. And then you took it again, you failed it, and then you did it again, and then you failed it. And around that time was when you lost your mom. And then you moved to Ghana you got admission to Ghana to study medical laboratory. And there's something you said, like, even though you didn't consider yourself like an excellent student, but you're okay as far as grades. So like failing out of medical school really affected you in the sense that you carried that sense of failure, even when you got to Ghana. And despite being a change of environment, having lost your mom recently. But I wanted to make a correction. You said, well, when we had a phone call before we got on this conversation, you said, well, I'm just going to take responsibility. And I think you were trying to say that it was you, like, because you didn't study very well. But here's another thing, I think you forgot to acknowledge, that grief can be quite insidious, It's a combination. Grief can actually affect your ability to concentrate and also to perform. And it's also very important to remember that grief is not purely emotional. Like, as long as you feel enough things don't happen, no. There are serious cognitive effects. So while I admonish the fact that you're saying that, well, because I didn't study, I didn't apply myself, I didn't do all of that, but you just lost your mom. That's a major trauma right there. So I just wanted to put that out there. Especially for those that are maybe going through whatever they call failure in life. Like it could not be because you haven't applied yourself very well. To lose one's mom around time and then that. But anyways, I wanted to just point that out, and I wanted to use that as a teachable lesson. Now you moved to Ghana.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just commending what you said.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, there. Because it sat with me for a while after our conversation. I was like, I need to let her know that, I know she's very diligent, but no, I wasn't gonna let that slide by. So you moved to Ghana, and there was something you said.
Sorry, let me quickly add that it wasn't really because I didn't apply myself. I think the mindset I had from time was, you need to take responsibility. So I think that was just, it was because I applied myself. I applied this medical school. Like, you cannot afford not to apply yourself. Yeah. But I'm grateful that you said that, because a lot of people feel like the reason they have failed is because they didn't apply themselves. And that actually sticks with them and forms a kind of effect that if they don't break, it would extend to every other thing they do.
So it's like a bitter sauce, like a bowl, like when you're cutting chicken, you have to separate the bowl separately, because if not, it's gonna contaminate and mess up the taste of the chicken. So I've experienced with failure. Sometimes it's like, fine, you failed in this area, but then what can you learn from it? And how do you now make it become the essence of your life? So you moved to Ghana. You were studying medical science laboratory, which is, it's still related in the medical field. And I can't even imagine the voices in your head telling you, well, you failed medical school, like failed, but how are you gonna, do you think you can do this? But then you tell us what you did. Like you turned that all around.
Okay, so for someone who had never failed before, failing out of medical school twice, I failed my exam twice actually. So I failed, I repeated the class, and then I failed again. And I went to Ghana. And I'm passionate about healthcare. So that one is there. So I just said, let's do medical lab. I didn't want to venture outside of what I was already used to because I loved it. My mom was a nurse, and I know growing up, going to the hospital with her, it was just one of those things that made me say, I'll be a doctor, and my mom will be a nurse beside me, that kind of thing. So I just didn't want to lose that. It was a big dream that I had. And I just said, let me do medical lab. And then I got to Ghana, and if voices would come, like, you're failed before. What makes you think you won't fail? Hey! So this was what happened. When I was going to leave Nigeria to Ghana, it was a big decision. Like, God, I have wasted 5 years. 5 years, I'm going to have to start over. I need you to make it count. Like, I had to have that conversation with God. You know what? I have failed. Let's move from that. But I need you to make it count. If I'm going to Ghana, I'm coming back with the best class. I'm coming back as the best graduating student in my set. Big dreams, yeah. I just had to challenge my father. You are my father. Oh, let's just. But somewhere in my mind, I couldn't believe it because I'd failed before. I saw the voices would come. You want to finish in first class. Who do you think you are? So, and that one. But God was so faithful to me. He said, he gave me a word in Isaiah 45, I think. He said, I will hold, this is my servant. So I put my name. I think it was something about Cyrus, and then the fact that I would help him. It would, dismantle gates. I put my name in that confession, and I would say it. And then I started creating confessions for myself. And I would say, God, your light has to shine through this. I don't want them to see me. I want them to see you. And I will say that every day, every morning when I wake up, when I'm going to bed, when I'm going to read. I didn't read any of my books without praying, because when I'm reading, I'm just here. Why are you trying so hard? It's not like you will not fail. And I'm like, why? Why are these voices here? And I couldn't understand why, but I knew that it was a battle I had to fight. So I wrote my confessions. I call them confessions. People say affirmations, but I call them confessions of faith. And then I said, God, I want you to, in fact, sometimes when I'm walking, the ones that I have kept in my mind, I've memorized, I say them while I'm walking. I'm sure people will probably be looking at me and say, this one, she has science going. But I'll say it because I had to stay in the place of, I am a success. I am not a failure. I'm not going to agree that I'm a failure. I am a success. And the funny thing began to happen. I'll have group discussions with my friends, and I'll begin to, say things that I do understand when I was reading. And then I say, God, we are doing, and beautifully, my friends were also Christians, so they believed in, let's pray before we start. When we start like this, what will just be coming? And God started to do miracles. And my school was a very difficult school. Some of my friends, they are here. They know. UCC, University of Cape. So, if you want to have an A, you have to get 80 out of 100 to have an A. So that means you have to pass your test, which is over 40, and pass your exam, which is over 60. So you go to your exam with at least a 30-something if you want to have an A. The moment you have a 20-something, just don't worry. Thank God for the B and move on. But I would always say, God, no, I don't want a B, say. I want an A. If I'm going to take a B plus, I want to manage it. And I can say for one of my results, that was the result that made me know that God was answering my prayer. So I kept at my confessions. You will know that result was God saying, let my people go. I had 80, 82, 81, wow. 83, 80 was the result. Borderline, like this one has to move. And that was the moment I knew that God is serious with me, and I have to be serious with him in this season. I said, God, if this has happened, I know that you can bring me through. And I confessed, and I will confess it, and I will put in the effort. Now, that meant I had to put in the work. like I had not done before. And I had to pray like I was not working. I used to say to my friends then, I would say, read like you're not praying, but pray like you're not reading. Because I don't want anybody to mark my script. I know I'm the spirit of God. It's funny, but it's kind of spiritual. But the people that God that will not favor me, don't let them see my script, Father. I don't want, because I knew if I could pass in UCC, then I would break that mindset of you are a failure. And God did it. I finished with a 3.72 out of 4. And the best graduating student in my department.
Wow.
In Nigeria. You know, the funny thing is, and there's this thing around Nigeria.
You know Ghanaians can read? Those Ghanaians?
They love Alido.
They can read. With their jollof rice.
Nigerians. They say, that Nigerian girl. But God, Chale, my Chale people, I love them so much. I mean, that was one time of my life that I really enjoyed. I loved Ghana. I loved being in Ghana.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful.
So, shout out to them. But, you know, and I knew that it was God, because people would talk about my matric number. They don't even know the person. So, my matric number was 0024. And I would hear, so everybody have failed. And this person has an A. Like, who is this person? There were some of our lecturers that were on sabbatical and came back. And one happened to me that really shocked me. The man came to class. First time he was teaching us, he said, who is 0024? Hey, I felt boy, I have to fail by you. I failed. I don't raise my hand. He said, oh, it's a girl. You are the one. I said, I'm the one. What happened?
It's a girl.
You know, so God had to show up. He had to go, because they didn't. And that was my prayer. I said, I don't want them to see me. I want them to see God. So a lot of people didn't even know it was me until maybe my final year that, oh, is this person that is 0024 and all of that. And God came through in that way. And that one thing that did to me was help me to realize that faith without work is dead. As much as you are praying, you need to work. Now, it built back my confidence. So all those voices I was hearing, they lost their hold, because I had the proof. I had the proof in my hand that this is what God did. God will always show up for you. As long as you trust that He can, He would always show up for you. And now I have confidence in every area of my life. A lot of people, things are probably not working the way I want them, and they are being delayed and whatever. But I know He would come through. If He has done it before, I have a lion and a bear, like David had. He said, you help me with the lion, you help me with the bear. You will deal with this Goliath. And that's the same thing for me. I say, whatever happens, if I'm taking this, and you know, and let me just digress into that confession that I did in school. I knew how powerful it was for me, and that was what I published into my book, into the book that I released last year. It was basically the confessions that I made in school, like every day. Imagine doing that almost every day, although not everything, because it's a very long confession. But in fact, I wrote it in a book there, so I will read a part that I can before I go out, because I knew that I was battling with the thought of failure. But failure is not the end. It's what you do after that failure, what you do with whatever happens. So you have failed, we've erred. So what do? Do you stay there? Because I could have chosen that, oh, I'm a failure, and then accept it. But then I said, no, I'm not a failure. My Father created the entire world. Are you joking? No. So how do I take back what is mine? I had to go into His word and then use that. And that's why I was affirmation works. If you like, call it affirmation. If you like, call it confessions. Some people donation. But just put the word of God in your mouth constantly. It reminds Him of His promises. Because He says, remind me of the things that I've said. That's the only, you have to be able to relate to. God is not a military or a colonial master. He wants you to talk to Him when you are afraid, when things don't work, when, you know, and that's what that did for me. It gave me my confidence back. It helped me to see beyond everything. That if you can hand it over to God, it will come true. But you must be ready to do the work.
I like that. I like that. I
Yeah,
mean, so the same God who, has been helping you with the experiences you've had, losing your parents and your sister, and you took that pain
yeah,
back to him. The same God
yeah,
that when went through all of that in medical school and then
yeah,
moving to Ghana and start all over again,
yeah,
you yielded that all to
yeah,
him. So I can imagine that
yeah,
regardless of what happens to you, regardless of what you know you go through, the constant,
yeah.
like you said, is God. And for
Yeah.
me, that is the probably the most beautiful thing about just have us as
Oh,
Christians, having that Father,
yes,
because God remains the
yes,
ultimate. He remains like the sovereignty of God is always going to be the standard. There's nothing that can happen to me that can ever hit it like that. Even when it feels like this is the end of the world, guess what? We always know how it's going to end because Romans 8:28 says, all things work together for good.
it
Now, it's
works
not saying,
together.
not only good things, because some things are just downright sad. Some things are
Yeah,
downright, evil, and you
yeah,
go through those experiences, but God is willing to take that. And I think it trust and communication, which is birthed from a hidden place of prayer and worship and that
yes,
relationship with God, that can help you
yes,
take all of your stories. I mean, who would have thought that a day will come where you can start talking about, the death you've experienced in your family and then feeling through,
yeah,
because when you hear somebody say they failed through medical school, that's like, wow. I never want to hear anybody hear about it. But look at the confidence that is shining through
yeah,
you. Not just because you're a smart person, but because it's beyond that. You applied
yeah,
everything you've known, and your relationship with God was what brought that out of you. And so this is to the
yes,
listeners out there. Take it back to God. Whatever you're experiencing, shame, pain, anger, all of those negative stuff
it's for
that
a
the devil has
purpose.
to do, you have to stay like a victim. Stay like a victim. I won't lie to you. It's victim mentality, man. Hella good. Every day throwing party, party, party everywhere, party after party. But when is it gonna end? When is it gonna end?
Yeah,
So don't rush it still, but sit in it, but take it back to God. Now, quickly,
yeah,
quickly, I know you've been through a lot, you've been through grief, you've been through everything, but out of that purpose you still have for life, you started the Zablex Mag Foundation. In quick words,
yeah.
because we have like less than 2 minutes. Tell us a little bit about
Okay.
it, what you can do, and how we can support it.
Okay, so Zablex Foundation was founded because of the people that I've lost. It's actually a combination of their names, Elizabeth, Alex, and Margaret. So Zablex Mac. And it's a foundation that is focused on providing for the less privileged, especially children. We like to provide for everybody, but we are focusing on the children because we believe that when every child has a hope for the future, they know what to do. So the main motto is giving every child hope. So we start there are a few things we do. We feed, we're planning to educate, we're planning to heal them, because of course people go through things that they don't talk about, and ultimately help them to be able to find their purpose in all of that. A few of the things that we've been able to do, we'll just feed a few people, collaborate with other NGOs to feed young and families and all of that. But we have a bigger vision, which is to educate and empower children, and to adults. So if you have children, if you know anybody that is probably in need, you can send them our way. We'll do what we can, but we need support. We need to get it probably and properly instituted, and then be able to give the help that we can to everybody that comes our way, because every day, and this was what was for my sis, because she just had the art for people,
We have 60
and I
seconds
really
left.
liked that. So that's
Hurry,
Zablex
hurry.
Mac. God, this Zablex Mac Foundation. You can follow us on Instagram, and more information is on that page. Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, Tolu, for sharing your story. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much.